In early 2023, the Indian government invoked emergency digital regulations to redact a documentary produced by the BBC titled India, the Modi Question. Following the ban, state tax authorities conducted raids on the British media group's local offices, seizing employee laptops and mobile phones. While independent journalism faced these restrictions, the state's approach shifted significantly regarding domestic media that aligned with its own narrative. In 2024, authorities enthusiastically promoted the Sabarmati Express, a high-profile Bollywood film covering the same historical period. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and senior cabinet officials publicly endorsed the production. They urged the public to watch the film, describing it as an essential tool for learning the truth about the events of 2002. These contrasting actions move beyond simple public relations. They represent an active curation of a single volatile year, where the state determines which specific portions of the past are permitted to remain in the public record. On the morning of February 27, 2002, the Sabarmati Express, a train carrying Hindu pilgrims returning from Ayodhya, pulled to a stop near the Godhra railway station in Gujarat. After an argument erupted on the platform between passengers and local vendors, 4 coaches of the train caught fire. 59 people, including women and children, burned to death inside. The subsequent investigations produced conflicting accounts. While early independent tribunals suggested the fire was accidental, a state-appointed commission eventually declared it a pre-planned conspiracy executed by local residents. Regardless of the fire's origin, local politicians and regional newspapers immediately framed the tragedy as an act of Pakistani-backed terrorism. This narrative was utilized to ignite public fury and provide a justification for mass retaliation against the Muslim community. The response shifted rapidly from a spontaneous riot into a highly coordinated statewide pogrom. Over the next 3 months, the Muslim minority in Gujarat was subjected to a systematic wave of violence. Attackers utilized organized tactics, arriving in neighborhoods in trucks and wearing saffron robes. They used mobile phones to coordinate strike locations, ensuring the violence spread quickly across the region. Evidence of premeditation surfaced in the navigation methods used by the mobs. Rioters carried government-issued voter registration lists, which allowed them to target Muslim homes and businesses with surgical precision, while leaving adjacent Hindu properties untouched. Systemic police complicity facilitated the massacres. Officers reportedly told victims that they had no orders to save you, while others ignored violence occurring in broad daylight or fired their weapons directly into Muslim crowds. The human toll was catastrophic. Up to 2,000 people were killed, and mass sexual violence was heavily documented. Over 150,000 Muslims were permanently displaced, forced into under-resourced relief camps. Despite the scale of the crisis, the highest state authorities delayed the deployment of military troops until the massacres were largely complete. This delay allowed a deliberate process of ethnic cleansing to take place across the state. In the years that followed, the judicial process was fraught with obstruction. While some low-level perpetrators faced trial, the legal system provided a shield for the higher-ranking architects of the violence. The state utilized specific tactics to derail accountability, including the widespread intimidation of witnesses, the bribing of officials, and the deliberate destruction of evidence that could link politicians to the mobs. The case of Bilkis Bano became a microcosm of this struggle for justice. Her attackers were eventually convicted, but in 2022, the Gujarat government granted them early release. The men were effectively pardoned and welcomed back into their communities with public celebrations. The eventual legal exoneration of top officials, including then Chief Minister Narendra Modi, effectively sanitized the state's role in the violence. This transformation of a human rights failure into a legal clean slate served as a vital stepping stone for ultimate political ascension. The polarization that followed 2002 secured sweeping electoral victories for the ruling BJP. The riots became a foundational blueprint for their consolidation of national power, rooted in the division of the electorate. The 2024 film, The Sabarmati Report, serves to reinforce this shift in memory. It focuses exclusively on the initial train fire, while entirely erasing the months of state-sanctioned pogroms that followed. The documented history of 2002 consists of the initial train fire, followed by months of evidence detailing the pogroms, and 2 decades of legal battles. Cinematic propaganda acts as a visual redaction, deleting the months of mass violence and the judicial struggle that followed, leaving only the train fire as the sole point of connection to the present day. Banning critical journalism and funding cinematic propaganda extends beyond today's news cycle. It is an attempt to permanently rewrite the truth of 2002, ensuring that the state's ideological legacy remains unquestioned by future generations.